Okay, next topic, different types of variables. So we had int so far can just hold integer numbers, whole numbers, right? And we could give it any name we want as long as it doesn't have weird exclamation points or it doesn't start with numbers or something like that. So I'm going to make a variable called number. I am going to set it equal to something. So when I make it, when I put this word int in front, what it's telling my computer to do is find a spot in the memory of the computer that isn't being used and use it. Okay? There are limitations on how big these numbers can be. I'm just going to let this one equal 90. And now anytime I use the word number in my code, it knows that it's 90. I can change that variable anytime I want in my code. But there are some limitations to it, right? Like, I don't know if we talked about that in this class, but the biggest number you can do is, like, you can't go over 2.1 billion, okay? 2200, 123, 123. If I go over that, it's going to wrap around to my negative numbers and give me something weird. Let me see out that. Okay. There you go. So, yeah, there is an issue there. So there are limitations, okay? But for the most part in this class, we're never going to go over and use those big numbers, so we're not worrying about it too much. So there's your integer, okay? Other things I could do with it, I could make it go up by, I could make it increase itself by like 20, okay? There we go. That would make it go up by 20, and then it would then print not 90, but 110. Okay. How would I know? Dylan, shh. Do you need to wait outside or what?
No, sir.
Or me split up the seating plan a little bit here?
No, we're good.
Okay, don't talk while I'm talking. So I got 90, and then it went up to 110. Good. Okay, so the next variable type that we'll talk about is something that can only hold one letter. It's called a character variable. I'm just going to call this one letter. Okay? This is called a character variable. Not very useful for us in this class. Not going to use it too often because it's just something that holds one letter. So it's kind of boring. There's one interesting thing we can talk about, but here's how you get it to hold a letter. You actually put it in single quotes instead of double quotes like we would normally do when we were typing words out. So that would make it the letter F. And let me print that out to see what it looks like on the screen. The screen is still quite blinky. Okay, there you go. The letter F. It can do any letter. It can also do any symbol on the keyboard as well. Watch this. Plus sign. Okay. Print out a plus sign. Okay. And as a matter of fact, every keyboard button actually has a number associated with it. So let me just go back to my little letter A. Like that. Okay, great. I can actually convert any character variable into an int to see what number it represents because a computer is not good at dealing with letters. It thinks of everything in terms of numbers. So the way to convert a character into to see what number it's represented by, you just write the word int in brackets in front of the name of your variable and it'll switch it. Switches to an integer. So let's see what 97 is in terms, like what number the computer thinks A is. It's actually 97. I just said it. There you go. 97. Okay? And the letter B would be 98. And the letter C would be 99, and so on and so forth. Every letter on the keyboard is associated with a number. In fact, if I go here and Google this thing called an ASCII table, we'll be able to see what every letter on the keyboard is represented by in terms of numbers. So where was the letter A? It was 97 on the list. So here's 97. Right there, you can see it's the letter A, 98. These are all different hexadecimal, octamal, HTML. Don't worry about those. Just worry about this decimal number. So 99. Let's see if I put in a square bracket. Will it return the number 93 to me? This square bracket. Let's just go and check. Under my code here, I'm going to do that square close bracket. Should be the number 93. And it is 93. In addition, check this out. What if I let my letter equal 93 instead of making it an actual letter? Will it let me print it out as a character? Let's check. Are characters and integers actually the same thing? Let's have a look. It did. It printed out a square bracket. So that's kind of cool. I can actually print any of these weird symbols that I've never used on it, that aren't even on my keyboard. Like, look at this one, pi, or what's pi? 227. So let me write 227 in here and see if it prints pi on my screen. This is how people would do ASCII art in the past. Just close this. 227. Does it print out pi? Yes, it does. Looks kind of weird, but it does it. How about this one here, this trademark symbol, or the square root symbol's 251. Well, let me do that one. 251. Print. Oopsie. Yes, it will. There's the square root sign. Okay, so that's kind of interesting. There's a bunch here. There's a bunch of, it's based on an old typewriter commands, so you can see that some of these you would never use. End of transmission, backspace we would use for sure. New line, that's actually the enter button on your keyboard. It's number 10. There's some other like carriage return, that's all old typewriter stuff. End of medium, some of those we would never use. They don't really exist on computers nowadays. But you can, that's how characters work in C++. So here's a cool thing, okay? Watch this. See out, watch this question. Give me a number. What is, the biggest number is 255, right? Okay. So I'm going to tell this person to give me a number between, oopsie, 0 and 255, like that. End line. Now, I'm going to make letter equal that, whatever they type. So here's a way to get someone to type something in. So instead of just saying letter equals, and I don't really know what they're going to type, right? So I don't really know what to put in there. But there's a command called cin instead of cout. It uses the opposite double arrows. It doesn't have end line or anything like that. And if I write the word letter here, it will actually, whatever the person, it'll give a cursor prompt. Watch this. Okay. Do you see how it's waiting for me to type something in? So whatever I type in here now is what the variable will equal. So that's the way to get input from the monitor. Okay. And what I'm actually going to do is cout letter, but they're going to type in a number, but because letter is a character variable, it will actually print it out as whatever letter it is. So for instance, let me go back to that table, and let's say I want to print the infinity sign. I know it's 236, right? So my code can test. It wants me to enter in a number, 236. I printed out 2. That's weird. Why is that? What if I do 97? It's 9. Hold on. Let me make a number variable first. Int letter n. I like that, I guess. I guess I have to, if I'm going to use the C in, it has to be a number. Letter n. I like that. Okay. And then I will put letter n like that, but I'm going to switch it to a character. So you can switch back and forth between. See if that works. Sorry about that. So 236 should be what? The infinity sign. And it works. If I run it again and I pick just a random one like 57, that is the number 9 on the keyboard. If I run it again, pick like 241, it's the plus minus sign on the keyboard. If I run it again, basically I made a little program that it can find. Here's upside down question mark for any Spanish people in the class. It's 168. So I'm going to type 168. This is how you get input. It's upside down question. Okay, so this lab will have some questions where it wants you to use this cin command. And then the other type of variable that we're going to learn about is one that takes in decimals. It's exactly like int, except it will actually let you take in decimals. Decimal variable. There should be no no big deals there, right? We could go decimal equals whatever number we want, 4.67. Okay. If I see out that, it will just print it back out to me. .67, good. And then the last type of variable we're going to learn about is one that can hold words. And that variable type is called string. But that has to be in double quotes. Hello world. Remember that? So that's really all there is to that. So we're going to work on lab 5 today. Probably tomorrow too. But if I print out word as a variable, it will print out the word hello world on the screen. There you go. Okay. So I'll post this video to YouTube for you.